Hello everybody and welcome to the Trading Setup channel. My name is Niku and today we're going to look at a strategy that uses two very interesting indicators. If you want to learn more about the basics of trading, make sure to join my free Signal group on Telegram. Links in the description below. We also have daily live trading sessions, educational materials, tips and even trading software. Everything you need as a trader all in one place. So discover new opportunities and get trading. Now let's head over to the platform and look at today's strategy. Okay, let's get our platform set up so we can start trading. There's a few things we need to change and check before we begin. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that our candle period is set to 30 seconds. Next, we're going to change our expiry time to 2 minutes. And that's that. Now we need to add the indicators. We're going to add two indicators and we're going to make some changes to them. First one we're going to add is the CCI and next up is the ADX. So we're going to add these two indicators to our chart and we're going to make some adjustments. And we're going to change the period of the CCI to 14. And then I really like the brighter colors, so I'm just changing the colors here. You do not need to change the colors. This is a cosmetic thing. It's just a preference for me. I like the colors a bit differently than the default colors. So we don't need to you don't need to change your colors. But what is important, my ADX is going to be set to 14 and 14 smoothing and a 14 length, and my CCI is also set to 14. We're going to leave the oversold and overbought values at 100. Okay, so that's the setup we need. Now we are going to look for two things. The first thing we're going to look for is areas where the CCI gets out of the or gets into the overbought or oversold zone, like this example here. Once this does happen, what we're going to look for then is whether or not my ADX is making a huge DI spike. So the ADX consists of three lines. This yellow line is the actual ADX. Remember, the ADX doesn't show you direction, it shows you the strength of the movement. So the ADX will go up when price goes down, or it will go up when price is going up. Let's see if we can find an up. There we go. So price was going up and the ADX was going up as well. It shows you strength, not direction. But the DI lines, this is the DI minus, the red one is the DI minus line and the green one is the DI plus line. Now, when price is going down, your DI minus will be dominant. And when price is going up, your DI plus will be dominant. So those show you direction, and it also shows you the rate of change. So the ADX shows you strength of the move, and the DI minus and DI plus shows you direction and rate of change. You can think of it like that. So we're going to look for areas where, first of all, like I said, CCI gets out of oversold or gets into oversold or overbought area, as this example here, and at the same time we need a big DI spike. So this is a big DI spike. We can see that the value of the DI there is roughly around 41, and at the same time my ADX is sitting around 20. So my DI spike is about double the value of the actual ADX. Once we get the CCI into the overbought zone and we get a big DI plus spike, we're just going to take a sell for 2 minutes, and then we're going to do the opposite for buy trades. Let's see if we can find a good one. Here we had CCI came out of the oversold zone, or came into the oversold zone, and then we had this massive DI minus spike. And once this happens, we just take a buy trade. So we're going to look for areas where the CCI gets into oversold or overbought, and then once it happens, we're going to see if we have a massive DI spike, a big DI spike. So as a rule of thumb, the DI spike needs to be roughly about double the value of the ADX. You will get used to seeing, to gauging it as you go along. This was also an example of a sell trade I would have taken as soon as the ADX, as the DI came down. If it's so close, sometimes I'll take them. Depends on on the price action, but because we had these two massive candles, I know there was a good chance. So I'll just wait for this, the DI minus. I would have taken a sell on this candle here, because that's where the DI minus turned down, telling me that the move is basically done. Okay, so that's what we're going to look for. Now we can start looking for trades. Okay, our charts are all set up, and now we're going to see if we can find some entries. So we're just going to skip through a bunch of assets and see if we can come across an asset where the conditions for our strategy is met and we can actually take a trade. Remember, what we want to see is the CCI in the overbought or oversold zone, and once we find an asset where that is the case, we're going to see if we can get a very high DI spike on the ADX while the ADX itself remains low. So we're just going to flip through a bunch of assets. We should pick up a few trades. It shouldn't take too long to pick up a trade or two. Right, what's the values here? 25 and 13. So my ADX of my DI is not even double what the ADX is. As a rule of thumb for me, I look at where the value of the DI spike is at least double. It doesn't always have to be the case, but quite often I would like it to be at least double what the ADX itself is. We've got the DI here on 30 and my ADX is on 15. Missed this. Let's start again from the top and see if we can pick up something. Here's an example of a trade I would avoid. Although my DI is quite high at the moment, my ADX is also coming up really strong. So I'm not going to take a reversal trade when the ADX is coming up strong like that. It's telling me that there's a lot of strength behind this move, and the chances of it reversing is very low. So I'm not going to take any entries when the ADX is climbing strong like that. Another case here, ADX is coming up way too hard. My DI is climbing, but it's not that high, and it's definitely not even close to being double what the ADX is. This is looking better though, although my ADX is a little bit erratic here. I don't like it when the ADX is erratic. I like a smooth spike. Let's see what we are, roughly double at the moment. This should be a decent entry actually. We're going to take a 2-minute sell. I've got a fairly decent DI spike on the ADX, and my CCI was in overbought zone, and as we can see, it's starting to pull back quite sharply now, and now we just need to wait for the expiry timer to run out. While this is happening, I think I'm just going to continue through some assets, and we can come back to that one when we get closer to the expiry limit. This should also be a very nice trade. Unfortunately, we're going to have to wait for the expiry to run out before we can take any more trades. Let's come back to this, see what's happening. It did push up a little bit, but it's coming back down. We're about halfway through this trade. There we go. 1 minute left on this. We'll see what happens. We're just going to go through some assets while we're waiting for that. This is also a nice entry. We've got a very high DI spike here, and my ADX itself is fairly low at the moment, although it's climbing. I've got my CCI almost at 200, which is double into the overbought zone. I'm not sure how to say this. Language issue. Let's go back to the asset where we have a trade on. There we go, it's coming down again. 18 seconds left on this. Let's see what happens. There's the red. Just in time for our entry to close, and it was good. Let's see if we can pick up something else. There was that asset that had such a high jump. This one here, unfortunately, this was the entry for us. We should have taken it there. I'm not going to get in now. If I miss a trade by a few seconds, I stay out of it. There will be more trades. There's no reason to jump into trades that's fired recently, and just see what happens. Let's see what's happening here. ADX, the DI plus is coming up really hard. This is what we like to see. CCI is way out of the overbought zone, into the overbought zone as well. So we're just going to sit and wait to see if this spikes up anymore. We would like to see more green ideally. The value of the CCI here is only 26. Oh, sorry, the DI plus, and so we are roughly double, but this is a very low value for the DI plus. We'll set that on. So I've got a very high DI spike here, it's over 30, and we can see that we are hitting a support level. So I'm just going to take a buy trade. Someday I wanted to do a bigger trade. So we're just going to take a buy trade on this because we are on a fairly decent support level. It's been touched multiple times, this level here, and my CCI is way into the oversold zone, and we had a decent DI spike. The value of that was like 33, while my ADX itself at that same time was 20, just under 20. And now again, we're just going to wait for the expiry timer to run out. Pushing up beautifully. We're almost halfway through this trade. I'll be busy and waiting. Let's see if there's something else that's getting close to making an entry for us. Okay, we've got 40 seconds left on this, 30 seconds. So let's just sit here and see if our, we'll just wait until this entry finishes. This is a very nice strategy when price is ranging, by the way. We can see that we are in a fairly long range here. This was the lower limit, and every time it hits the upper limit, price rejects. So if you see that you are currently stuck in a range, you can then look for DI spikes when we get close to the resistance or the resistance or support levels of that range. And quite often you will see that you get a very nice DI spike right, basically almost right on that level. This trade was good. Let's see if we can pick up another one quick. CCI is into overbought zone, but this is a very weak DI spike, so we're going to skip it. Let's see if we can find one more trade that's a good example of what we're looking for. Okay, we had a very decent DI, it's a fairly decent DI spike here. It's 27. I like it to be over 30 at least. Because quite often your ADX will be around the 15 value, will have a value of around 15. So I like it to be more than, my DI spikes to be higher than 30. Just to be sure, it just gives you that extra chance that you're gonna snap back. Now this one's super erratic, but this could push up, although my ADX is coming up strong as well now. ADX is on 23, DI is losing steam, so we're not going to take a chance on a reversal. And there was a very nice DI spike. It's a pity. That would have been an excellent trade. Got a super high DI spike here. We're hitting a resistance level, so I'm just going to take it sell on this. We can see that my DI is on 40 basically, while my ADX itself is below 20 still. CCI here is way into the overbought zone. We're almost on 200, and then we also have this here. Let's make this a little thicker and then get it out of the way. Let's put it up there. We also have this level here. Roughly. Let's clone this and put in another. Remember, support and resistance levels are almost always an area. It's never just a single price. A lot of people make this mistake and think it's a single value. It's never just a single one-digit value. It's always a small area, the support and resistance. So when I draw support and resistance areas, I draw them like this. So if price hits this level here, I'm not necessarily going to assume that it's going to reverse. Because as we can see here, sometimes it comes up to it, sometimes it just pushes through, and let's change that. And like this was the case, it pushed through both of them and then came back down. So keep that in mind. It's always an area. It's never just a single number. We've got 30 seconds left on this. Let's change that back to there. It's looking very good so far. This was a decent entry. We had a very fairly decent DI spike here, and then like I said, my CCI is way into the overbought zone, and this is a good entry. High DI, low ADX, CCI deep into the overbought zone, and there we go. Very good entry. So that's the strategy. You do need to be patient, stick to the rules, make sure your CCI is in the overbought zone or oversold zone. The more the better, obviously. And then also make sure that your DI spikes are very, first of all, higher than the ADX. Make sure the ADX is fairly low still. You don't want a high ADX because that's telling you there's a lot of strength behind the move. And so when you get those DI spikes with the CCI into the overbought or oversold zone, that's when we can take reversal trades. Works very well in ranges, and when price is running like this, you're definitely not even going to bother looking for entries when you see sharp movement like this with a very high ADX. We can see here as well when in the uptrend the ADX kept climbing, so you don't want to take reversal trades in this area even if you do get a DI spike. Okay, so that's it. If this sounds like something you're interested in, then my pro trading group is just the place for you. It is completely free and available to you right now. Just send me a message using the QR code on the screen or the link in the description. If you're ready to maximize your returns from the market and learn other valuable insights, now is the time. We hold daily trading sessions Monday to Friday, and there's educational content and much more waiting for you on the group. So I'll see you there. Once again, thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, may the pips be with you.